Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a spicy show in store for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, this one is going to be pretty interesting. As you guys know, Gilbert Arenas a few weeks ago made some very controversial comments that went viral all over the internet. It wasn't just sports creators talking about it. It was a plethora of people talking about it. And it was some comments that he made about the South Sudanese players, right? They got a lot of people's blood boiling. We're not going to play for you guys because I'm sure you guys have already heard it. But a lot of people were upset with Gilbert Arenas. And it wasn't just people in the independent space. It was also people that have some credible voices. And one of those people was Rob Parker. I'm not sure if we did a show on it. I think we did. I don't remember. But Rob Parker was pretty critical of some of the things that Gilbert Arenas was saying. And he had a few things he was saying. The first thing he said was it necessary? Or this was rather unnecessary for Gilbert Arenas to be saying these things, number one. Number two, he said that, I'm paraphrasing here. He said that Gilbert Arenas isn't a reputable source of information. Rob Parker is not a fan of these players' podcasts. He thinks that a lot of it is garbage. This is to use his words. He doesn't like the fact that it's a kumbaya fest where players don't really push back on each other. They don't really ask tough questions. It's more like just like a nice, safe environment where they can just kind of share their thoughts with one another and go back and forth on various issues. You're not going to see any really pushback and any serious pushback. So Rob has been very vocal on people like Gilbert. Now, here's what's interesting. When Rob made these comments, he made these comments a few weeks ago, at least 2 weeks ago. So I was surprised to see that Gil responded to him now because he made these comments a while back. I would have thought that maybe Gil would have responded sooner, but I guess he decided he was going to respond to it a little bit later. So today I was going through the internet and I came across a pretty long show from his channel, No Chill Gil, addressing some of these things, right? And there was a particular part around the 40-minute mark of his show where he started to talk about it. But essentially what he was doing was he was kind of letting Rob Parker play out like the audio of what he was saying, and then he was reacting to it bit by bit. And then once it had concluded, he then now went into his main ideas. And that's really the part of what he had to say we want to share with you guys, because we have a lot of interesting views on what is taking place between Gilbert Arenas and what he said and some of the things that Rob Parker said. So that's the content that we want to focus in on today. But before we even get into what these gentlemen had to say to one another, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, Game Time. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. For example, I am super excited about the upcoming MLB games. With Game Time tickets, I can easily pick the best tickets for me. I love that I can choose between different deals. I have the option to select the cheaper deal, the best option deal, or my favorite, the flash deal. The flash deal gives me the option to find discounts that I can only find on Game Time. Once I select the ticket I want, I can view my seat. And it's not just restricted to baseball. I can also look for the best ticket deals for other sports like football, the NBA, concerts, comedy, or other theater shows. Included in my purchase, I also have a 24-hour return guarantee, a lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection. So take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we would like to do now is we'd like to play exactly what Gilbert Arenas had to say in response to Rob Parker, and then we're going to come back and really get into the meat and potatoes of the show. Take a listen to that there.
When Amazon gets the contract for the NBA, it'll be on the pre and post game show. Is that who you want? Like why? Why go there? Why do that? I just don't understand it. You already know, but I'm telling you, because it's not his job, it's a hobby, and they don't feel that they can be hurt in any way, right, Martin? There's a part of that that allows people to do stuff that's just plain wrong. And I don't know how he felt or thought that was going to be received. I just don't. I don't know.
Well, this is part of it where this is the part of the situation where you end up where the media landscape now is dominated by people who are famous for doing something besides talking in the media, right? Like Gilbert Arenas is not famous because of his podcast. He's famous because he played professional basketball for however long.
Right, but people make it like these are respected broadcasters,
exactly. And this
people,
is not the case.
And once again, he's proving to you and showing you that you can listen all you want. I'm not mad. I don't care what his numbers are. You know what I mean? You can listen all you want. You got a higher profile than me. I didn't play in the NBA. I went to journalism school. I have a corporate business here, Premier Networks and Fox Sports Radio, that hold me to certain standards.
Look, if I had come out on Saturday after the game, me and VJ were one of the first people to talk about that on national radio. If I had come out like Gilbert Arenas did, I probably would have got a text from the boss saying, "Don't worry about Monday. Go ahead. You're good." You're
So why didn't you get that call when you talked about? I mean, you said the word you used, exonerate. I don't even know the word you use. But you did it against the USA team. You said you and your colleague went on 45 minutes after, and you killed the USA team, but you cheered on the what's the name team. So you did what I did. You just did it to the other team. Man, I love when people want to be victims. Because if Amazon and all of them start looking for podcasts, obviously they're going to go off the numbers, right? And unfortunately, sir, Rob, no one's coming for you. No one's coming for you. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it plain and simple. I'm content, meaning I can generate viral while I'm on vacation. You are a reporter, which means you report on people who are going viral. Which means, sir, in my line of work, which is podcasting, there will be never one time that you will be going viral for me to talk about you. Let me try that again. There's nothing you are going to say, sir, in sports that would be so intriguing that is going to come across my desk and I'm going to be like, yeah, we should touch this topic. Never. But obviously, is that Fox Sports Radio? I'm the guy that does something and your boss tell you, make this a topic. So yeah, we don't have the same playbook. Unfortunately. We do not have the same playbook. See, this page is called No Chill Gil. Meaning when you click it, do not come on the page and then be like, oh my God, he's no chilled. That is the point of this channel. No chill. Unfortunately, I can jump in and out of different, when I'm with Shannon Sharp, I'm preserved, right? I don't do all the cussing and stuff because that's not that platform. See, unfortunately, you don't have different type of suits to get in different type of rules. See, me, and I'll teach you, here's a teaching lesson, old man. When sponsors come and other people come for me, I ask them the question, who are you coming for? Do you want Gilbert Arenas or do you want No Chill Gil? And then they say, we want No Chill Gil. Okay, now what are my limits? Where's the line at? Right? So I know where the line is. So when you ask the questions of why his sponsors are not doing anything, because they paying for what I'm giving them.
So you heard what Gilbert Arenas had to say there. What are my thoughts on what Gil said? I thought that what Gilbert Arenas said was very, very interesting because it speaks to where we are in sports media today. What media is today is not what it was 5 years ago. Forget about 10 years ago. 5 years ago, it was not like this. 5 years ago, was YouTube around? Yes, because YouTube has been around since 2005, right? But at that time, it was just people creating content. When people wanted to get their news, their sports news, they were watching TV, right? Predominantly watching TV. So there was no need for anyone to listen to anyone in the independent space. And quite frankly, the knowledge of YouTube wasn't as vast as it is now in terms of the way it can be monetized and all of that, the reach that it has as a platform, the way you can connect with people, the way you can build an audience. It just wasn't the time yet. But over the last 5 years, we've witnessed a shift in sports media. We've witnessed linear TV lose out on its viewers to the independent guys, because the way people consume content today is different in the way that they did 10, 15 years ago. And with that, it created a new marketplace for people like Gilbert Arenas, myself, and others to step into this new arena and build an audience, number one. Number two, it also allowed former athletes to have a platform to be able to push back on some of the things that journalists were saying, where these guys had the bully pulpit sitting on television and they could say pretty much whatever they want to create, whatever narrative they want. And there was no way for athletes to come out there and create a counterbalance or respond to some of the things that were being said. So now you can do that, right? Now you can do that. And you have a lot of former athletes that have stepped into the independent media space, a lot of them. But if I'm being honest, I don't know if Gilbert Arenas is going to see this show, but if I'm being honest, and I got to be honest, I think Gil's Arena is at the pinnacle of the independent basketball shows right now. I think it's the one that gets the most views, if I'm not sure, but I believe it is, right? And they have a good show, because on that show, what you have is genuine disagreements. Not, oh, we're going to bring up a topic and you choose this side and I choose this side and we're going to go back and forth, because we've been talking about how debating is going out of style. But in this particular case, it's a different one, because these guys, there are moments when they all agree on things, and there are moments when they fundamentally disagree on certain things, and they express their views in a real way. And I think that's what makes it entertaining, right? And I think it's probably one of the only live, there are few, but I think it's one of the only live sports shows that they got going out there. So Gil's Arena, I think, is at the top of the game, based on what I can perceive, right? So Gilbert Arenas and these guys have built a pretty big platform, doing it the way that they do it, and it's very, very successful. Now, to what Gil said, right? Let's get to the meat and potatoes of what Gilbert Arenas said. He said that Rob is a person that will never be in a position where he says something and people react to him. He said, Gil, he's the one that can create headlines where people react to things that he says. And as someone that has covered both Gilbert Arenas in terms of things that he said and both things that Rob Parker said, I think that what Gilbert Arenas said is not true. Why do I say that? There are things that Rob Parker has said, not just now, but in the past, that have generated a lot of conversation. As a matter of fact, I think our second best performing video on this channel is a video based on what Rob Parker said. That video has, I don't know, close to 800,000 views, and it's something that Rob Parker said. It will. You can go look at the channel. Go to the channel, click on videos, click on the most popular, and you see Rob Parker is up there. And it's based off of something that Rob Parker said. So Rob is one of those people that has been in sports media for at least a decade and a half. Because I remember seeing Rob Parker all the way back on Cold Pizza. On First Take. And we're talking about that's 15 years ago, right? Debating with Skip Bayless. And Rob is relevant today in 2024. Going all the way back to where my memory serves me, 2010, 9. And Rob is still saying things today that make news. So I disagree with Gil when it comes to that. Now, what Gil was saying was that he is the one that's the former NBA player, the former All-Star. So when he says things, for example, Stephen Curry is not a generational player, or Giannis Antetokounmpo ain't all that good, or this about X player, that about X player, whatever. I don't know why my nose itches me today. It makes headlines and people react to it. And Gil is saying, you, Rob, are talking about me based off of things that I said. So you're talking about me, but I don't talk about you. And that's true, but it's also not true. Why? Because the truth of the matter is, Gilbert Arenas is a celebrity. But so is Rob Parker. Rob is also a celebrity. And people are going to listen to both of these guys for two separate reasons. People are going to listen to Gilbert Arenas because he's a former NBA player. That is his advantage over people like me and others. Like, he's a former NBA player and he played in the NBA. That's an advantage he will have over people like me. And that is an advantage he will have over people like Chris Broussard, Rob Parker, or whomever. That's his advantage, right? And then he has money, so he has the resources to create a show like this and all that. So that's Gilbert Arenas' advantage. Rob Parker's advantage is the fact that, number one, he is a certified journalist. And number two, he has been on television for, at the very least, the last 15 years. 15 years. So that gives him some form of credibility that when he says things, number one, people are going to listen. And number two, people recognize him. People don't recognize me. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a former athlete. Nothing. I'm a business administration student, right? That loves basketball and loves to talk about sports, but has other interests as well, right? That's me. So I don't fall within this category. That's why you'll seldom hear anything like that. So Rob also has something going for himself, but I understand what Gilbert Arenas is saying. He's like, I make news based off of things that I say. That is a 100% certainty. Will there be a moment where you see Gilbert Arenas talking about Rob Parker or maybe Chris Broussard on Gil's Arena? No. I don't even think there's a moment Gilbert Arenas will ever talk about us or anybody like that on Gil's Arena, because that's Gil's biggest platform. And I can understand, doesn't want to give shine to whoever it is. And I totally get that. It's his prerogative. I have a platform. We have platforms where there's certain people we will not mention on our channel. And it really has nothing to do with the size of who they are. It really doesn't. It has everything to do with whether or not we think that some of our views align with them, or they say certain things that even if we don't say it and we are connected to it, like, this guy, it won't like get us in trouble. There's certain people we're comfortable and it has nothing to do with the side. And there's other people just never going to mention and they know who they are, right? So I don't think there will ever be a moment where you'll see Gilbert Arenas talk about Rob Parker on Gil's Arena, but he is talking about him on No Chill Gil, number one. Number two, and he's talking about a person that people know. What is my general thought about all of this? I think that we all benefit off of each other. I think sports media is like a symbiotic situation that we got going on, where the next man benefits off the next man and the next man benefits off the next man. It's an ecosystem where everybody benefits off the next person. That's just how it is, right? Gilbert Arenas is a celebrity in terms of an athlete, celebrity. But if he goes on Gil's Arena with his other panelists, Kenya Martin or Brandon Jennings or Rashard McCam or whoever, if they sit up there and talk about themselves on a daily basis, it will be boring. Why? Because it's a sports show. And if it's a sports show, the premise is based on news and current events. So people are tuning in to hear what you think about what occurred in the news. They're not tuning in to listen to evergreen videos. They want to know, what does Kenyon Martin think about what Steve Kerr is doing with the coaching of the Team USA basketball? What do they think about what Rob Pelinka's have to do? What does Gilbert Arenas think about this? What does Gilbert Arenas think about what LeBron did? What does Gilbert Arenas think about? That's what they're tuning in to hear. So in that case, you're also benefiting off of somebody else. And then I can hear something and say, oh, did you hear what Gilbert Arenas said? Man, that's interesting. And we'll talk about it. Now, again, we're not celebrities or whatever it is. And then maybe one or two other people say, did you hear what DREAMERSPRO said? And then everybody benefits off of everybody. Everybody's giving views to everybody. Everybody shares in the wealth. LeBron and these guys go out there and play. It gives content for people at ESPN to talk about. Do you think Stephen A. Smith and who all of these guys are going to walk on TV every day and just start talking about, well, you know, what I did this week and what I did? People are like, I don't care what you did this week. What I would like to know is, what do you think about what happened in that Dallas-Pittsburgh game or that Dallas-Steelers game? That's what we want to know. What do you think about that? Right? So in that case, LeBron and these guys are making news. But then LeBron and those guys can't say, well, we're at the top. We're the ones that make news. No, because if the people are not interested in the news you make, you don't matter. So ultimately, the audience is the one that has the power, and the audience seems to be interested in all of these things. They're interested in what Rob Parker has to say. They're interested in what Gilbert Arenas has to say for different reasons. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And we'll catch you guys on the next show. Peace.